You're listening to Forward Faster, bite-sized insights for entrepreneurs.
Hi, Scott. I'm Holly Barrett from Forward Faster podcast series. Thanks for joining us. For everyone that is listening in today, I'm with Scott Root from Wegmans. He is a professional development manager in the IT department. And we're really curious to hear about Wegmans because they're having a hackathon for the community on March 28th and 29th. And tell us about why Wegmans is getting involved in hackathons here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on this. This is a really exciting opportunity to be a part of something great at NextCore. We were here a year ago and got a tour of what you've done with the place and to see the old tea room and everything kind of come to life and some of the neat use of this space we were pretty excited about. So we knew that we had to have NextCore at our event. So the reasons that we're getting involved in this hackathon. First of all, if you don't know what a hackathon is, so a hackathon is a mashup of hacking and marathon. It's a long competition, usually straight 24 hours, sometimes 36 hours, where groups of people get together and solve technical problems. So why Wegmans? We're a grocery store. What do we have to gain? So for us, we sponsor a lot of hackathons, whether it's food, whether it's technology folks at local hackathons. We really pride ourselves on being a part of the community. And as most companies are transforming digitally, we're no different. We have to keep our skills top-notch, using technology first and foremost. So Hackathon for us was a great way to start to explore a little bit more of what we can do in the community.
Can you tell us a little bit about what types of problems will you be looking to solve with the hackathon?
Yeah, so the problems are all community-based. They're all community-focused. It's not a Wegmans hackathon for the benefit of Wegmans directly. It's all about Rochester and Monroe County in Western New York. So we've been working with the folks at the Monroe County office, as well as the city of Rochester, to come up with workable chunks of problems that we could solve in a 24-hour period, or at least address. You may not have a completely fully baked solution at 24 hours, but you may have the blueprints to carry it on later, build partnerships to do so. So there are things that can help ease administrative burden, or they may be quality of life improvements for citizens, or ways to leverage technology, because this is a hackathon. Mm-hmm. So most things are technology-based, technology-driven, software, hardware, those types of things, engineering.
Okay.
So we use those skills in a way to address problems in a way that maybe they haven't been able to before. Plus, really, it's about creativity. So you have your group of 4 or 5 people on a team, and you're solving problems in a way that maybe traditionally hasn't been done. It's your chance to take an opportunity to try something different, to use a different bit of technology, whether it's augmented reality, virtual reality, digital personal assistants, wearable technologies, things that maybe traditionally folks at the city and the county haven't thought to use to solve some of their problems.
Interesting. So you mentioned that there would be like 4 to 5 different people or students involved in the actual kind of brainstorming. Are they paired with someone that has more of an IT background or a technical background in the area that you're trying to solve? How does that work? Because I've heard this word called, ProAm methodology or model for hackathons, and I think that's the one that you're using. So explain that a little bit to us.
Yeah, so we got the moniker ProAm because we've been a part of ProAm golf tournaments in the past with the LPGA and Wegmans relationship over the years. A ProAm experience was really something that we saw as an opportunity to enrich the traditional hackathon format. So the format for a ProAm is 3 or 4 students paired up with a professional software engineer or somebody in the technology field who has 5-10 years of experience doing this in the community already. We see that being beneficial because when we are sponsoring hackathons and we have a booth and we have mentors there because we bring an API, we bring data, we bring a category as well as things like food and things people expect from Wegmans. But our mentors, we've all been to these events where we see students stumble on some things that if they had a little bit of guidance early, they could have saved 4 or 6 hours of headache, which in a 24-hour time period, those 4 to 6 hours are crucial to being able to work on your actual project. One example is one day we were at a hackathon and there was a group of students saying, we need to store data somewhere. What does that mean? We're only, juniors. What does that mean? How do we store data? They start looking things up. Oh, I've heard of this thing called Oracle. Oracle is a database, and we can put stuff into there. Let's go and put Oracle on our laptops. And just kind of hearing that type of a conversation, if you know about relational database management or enterprise data storage, Oracle's overkill for a hackathon, and trying to install it on your laptop is a monumental effort that many will fail for many hours, and it will be frustrating. If there was a pro on that team who has been through this before, they could have easily guided them and said, I agree, this is a great thing to do. We need to store data somewhere. Did you know that Azure has data storage in the cloud, and with a couple clicks of a button in a free account, we can store things, and it took 20 minutes instead of 6 hours, 4 hours of frustration. And then they can kind of start to kind of guide and teach, because it's a learning experience for everybody on the team, why we think that ProAm piece will be so beneficial. So aside from technical guidance, the big piece, and I haven't quite gotten deep enough into yet, is really around keeping people in Rochester and in Western New York. So, as a local company in Rochester, we feel a responsibility, and quite honestly, we really want to keep these bright folks in the area. As being an adjunct at the University of Rochester and then previously at RIT, I've met so many bright students who come into Rochester, get their education, and then they get a job elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so we want to do our part to help students get aware, just to raise awareness that there are great opportunities here. So this hackathon's one way we can do that, by pairing you with a pro. You get experience from somebody from Paychex, from Innovative Solutions, from Wegmans, from M&T Bank. We have a lot of these organizations already signed up with us, and by them donating some professional developers a weekend, you get a 24-hour plus time period spent with those students. So students learn about your organization, and you learn about 3 to 4 students per developer. It's better than any job interview. It's better than any career fair. You get to see how they work as a group, how they solve problems, how they communicate, how they work under stress and time crunches. And from there, you build those relationships, which if I went to a hackathon as a student, I was paired up with somebody with Paychex. I learned a little bit about what they did, and I was able to impress them with the way I work. I could have a career there, and now I'm going to stay in Rochester. And that's really where we're at.
What a wonderful opportunity. And I would imagine, like, in a 24-hour period, just like how you're describing how the mentors can shift some of the thinking, how many learning moments will be in those 24 hours, plus how fast you can quickly build your network by getting exposure to some of these professionals under that pairing model. Now, I heard that you were going to try to get 300 to 400 students involved in this. That's a huge number. Where would those students be coming from? And can you talk a little bit about what profile, like what kind of characteristics are you looking for in those students so that those that are listening can sign up and participate and get this tremendous opportunity?
Yeah, so for us, it's about keeping and retaining talent in the area. We believe there's a wealth of it here already. So our net is cast relatively narrow. We are going as far west as UB, University of Buffalo, Buffalo State, and also as far west as far east as Cornell and Ithaca. We're actually going to be part of Ithaca's hackathon this year too, which is centered around digital agriculture. And given that we have an organic farm, there's so many pairings and opportunities there. So we're kind of doing this give and take. We'll come to your hackathon, you send students to ours. So, but aside from that, really, we think we've had a lot of students sign up already.
So are these specifically college students, or will you take some high school students that might be involved in an IT project or two?
We have some ideas for how we want to incorporate people that aren't in a local university. We haven't quite fleshed out the details yet, but we want to expose this event to them in some way. Maybe they can help judge. Maybe they can be there at the final ceremonies. But to participate, we're asking that everybody is in a college degree program and is over 18.
Okay.
So to do that, because it's a 24-hour period, so you're staying overnight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why we want to make sure that folks are 18 and over. You can sign up at flowercityhackathon.com. There's a video there that talks about some of the students and what they're looking forward to that we put together, as well as there's a link to our Eventbrite registration site. You can sign up individually. You can sign up as a group. And it's free for everyone who shows up. And, we're going to have a tremendous amount of activity there that we can talk about in a minute. But I think in terms of getting folks there and your backgrounds and what makes a successful hackathon team, if you do sign up as a team, think about diversifying your skill sets. You may want, if you're signing up as a team of 3 students, you may want 2 who are software developer oriented or know data, data science or user experience, user interface. But you might want somebody who has some of that business background, an entrepreneurial spirit, a creative thinker, or a great task-oriented project manager type focus to keep the team, accountable and on track. And you're really on a time crunch, and to spin your wheel, sometimes you need somebody to be able to call it in and say, this is enough time spent on this. Let's move on to something else. We can't get this to work. Or, hey, let's give this piece to the pro, and then the pro should be able to teach us what they've done, so we've learned. So we think that having a diverse background of students, you don't have to be in a technical degree program. Everybody is welcome from any college, local college with any major. It's just if you believe you have a value to provide to a team, sign up. You sign up by yourself. We're gonna match people up. We're also going to match people up to pros based on their profiles. So all the mentors will be filling out a profile. They'll be submitting a picture, a little bit of a background. We're going to post it all on our website as we get closer. So if there's a mentor you really want to be paired up with, you can send us a message. We're going to have ways to communicate with those who sign up using a tool called Slack. And so this is the first time we've ever done it, so we're going to manually match up. So we're asking a lot of questions when you sign up. What year is for the student participants? What's your year? What's your school? What's your major? Do you require transportation? The county's going to help provide bus routes for us locally, and we have charter buses going out east and west because we want to make this frictionless. It's March. It's a weekend. You got to get out of your cold dorm and come over to Wegmans corporate offices.
Yeah, you might have to shovel snow,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to come.
That's great.
And as appealing as possible. And all the things that we're going to do there will really hopefully help encourage a great turnout.
Yeah. And when do you want people to apply by? Like, what's the cutoff date? Because obviously you have a lot of administrative activities to do that matching. So what's that deadline?
We're basically thinking about a month out. Okay. So, by the end of February, if you want to be involved, please do register. Similarly, if you decide you don't want to be, we're going to make sure that we give people on a waiting list an opportunity. We're going to ask folks to select out if they've decided they can no longer make it for various reasons. People have life happens, school is going on, you may have a big test coming up. Sure. If you can't make it, we're going to ask folks to elect out. So because we will have a waiting list, but we're going to manually manage that waiting list. Even though Eventbrite will do it for you, we really want to make sure we have a diverse representation too from the schools. Our campus is directly located, almost equidistant between U of R and RIT. We know that's where the majority of our students are going to come from. We don't want 50% from each. We want to also include Ithaca, Cornell. We want MCC. We want Fisher. We want folks from UB and Buff State, because we really believe that that'll help kind of proliferate the great things going on here in this area.
That is wonderful. Now, I understand, in addition to the hackathon, there's several different events that are going to be happening in conjunction at the event. Can you take a couple of minutes and just explain what else will these kids be exposed to?
Yeah, so Hackathon's such a fun event. Aside from the actual competition itself, the science fair feel to it all, it's got a carnival aspect to it where you have a lot of booths and activities and swag. People love the free gifts, different things, stickers to collect. But then there's some real cool activities planned. We're still planning the day of, but we're going to potentially have some outdoor activities in a space, and it's March, so we're going to have some kind of open fire, campfire activities, roasting marshmallows, things like that. Traditionally, I think we're going to have a VR booth there, photo booth, games to play as kind of distractions and ways to get up. And you can't stare at a screen for 24 hours. And sometimes you're stuck on a problem. Just getting up and walking around is important. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention what we believe is going to be the strongest thing there, and that's our food and our hospitality.
Well, what good event would be without Wegmans food.
Right.
I mean, we'll just be honest with that.
Yep. Normally, when we sponsor a hackathon, a big part of it is we bring food. So RIT does one every year called Brick Hack, and they also have a women in computer one called Wick Hacks. And we go to both of those. And for each one, we bring sushi by the pizza box load, basically. They show up in pizza boxes. And we bring it for like a midnight snack. And students line up for our sushi because it's just a way that we can elevate kind of the experience for, you're usually in a gym. You're eating a lot of caffeine-related products and chocolates and soft drinks. And so with Wegmans, if we're hosting it, we have to put the healthier, better lives through food spin on it. So yes, you'll have opportunities for caffeinating yourself, but right next to that, we're going to have oranges and apples. We're going to have mindfulness activities. We're going to have health and wellness, yoga, things like that in the morning, sunrise yoga. I also am hearing that we may have a create your own garbage plate station for one of the nights for food because that was something that the students had recommended. So you may make your garbage plate in traditional Rochester fashion. We'll also have healthy alternatives there for folks. So the food is going to be front and center. We've got vendors that are lined up to help us. Our coffee merchant folks, our people in the coffee office are going. What Hackathon needs is caffeine, and coffee is a great vehicle for that. And we're going to bring a barista staffed coffee bar. So you're not relegated to drip coffee that's been sitting out all day. You can come up and ask for a Flower City Hackathon latte, and we have a stencil that we're going to potentially put a little logo on your drink, and just kind of elevate this event because we want to do this a little bit differently. We have different resources than a university does, and we want to highlight what some of those are. Some of the logistics of putting on a hackathon are very hard for student-run organizations to do, such as universities. Given our conference space, our amazing event services staff, we host events in our large conference center multiple times throughout the year. So they are very well. They're professionals at this. So the food is going to be top notch. The service is going to be excellent. The AV in that room is amazing. We're completely re-outfitting the internet connection and Wi-Fi and power concerns that you have at a hackathon. And the students, we have a student advisory committee that's helped us, that have been a part of a lot of hackathons, that, they have things, they tell us things such as make sure the power or the heat doesn't turn off overnight or go down, because traditionally that's happened. And if you've never hosted an overnight event, because we've never done an overnight event in our big conference center, that's one of those things we could have overlooked, is make sure the heat doesn't go down to 62 degrees.
Especially in March, right?
Especially in March.
You don't want that.
Right.
Okay, Scott, so let's pull it back. Lots of information. It sounds like an ideal opportunity for most people. Give us, sum it up. Give us 3 words of what students could hope to achieve in participating from this event, and let's hope that gives them motivation to sign up right away.
Fun. This event is going to be incredibly fun, I believe, and that's honestly a great environment to then learn. So it's educational learning, all around fun. Sometimes we call it edutainment. And then the networking community piece of it. That's going to be, what better way to discover your career and your path in this area than by going to an event at a place like a Wegmans Conference Center, eat this great food, hang out with your friends, build something you're proud of that you put on a resume, maybe get a summer internship out of it, maybe come through these doors at NextCore and you have an opportunity to help finish the thing you started working on at your hackathon. Learn about entrepreneurial activities. The Chamber of Commerce and GRE will all be here to talk about the wonderful things, what it means to live in Rochester. As a boomerang, coming back here after living in Northern Virginia, I came back here to raise a family. I live in Fairport. I have a wife and 2 daughters. I am extremely happy, being at Wegmans and living in Rochester. I've been with Wegmans for 12 and a half years now, which is still kind of young in a Wegmans career because, we stay for a long time. And I being in Rochester, being at Wegmans, or any of the great local companies that we have here that are going to be part of this, I think really that's a tremendous opportunity for any student. And it costs nothing, and you get education, entertainment, and food.
Well, that's clearly a good reason to join. And I hope everyone takes Scott's call and signs up. And I wish you the best of luck with the hackathon. I can't wait to go. I'm going to be one of those ones that are drinking that coffee for sure. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.